Okay, so I've got my wok and steamer, my trusty wok and steamer. I've got a little bit of hot oil on over there at the back. And then we've got the Tastemaker ingredients over here. And then I've got a few little ingredients from my pantry staples. So I've got some palm sugar. I've got some genmai cha, which is a type of roasted rice green tea. I've got some sake, some oyster sauce. We've got some soy sauce, some fish sauce, and a little bit of coconut. So I am going to be making, what am I going to be making? Okay, so I scribbled a few ideas down. So I'm going to be making chawan mushi, but it's kind of going to be like very Asian fusiony, you know? So I'm going to take a little bit from every culture and I'm going to throw it into this like steamed egg custard with a black hot honey namjim. And then the noodles, I'm thinking, instead of making them the main feature, I'm going to use them as a garnish feature. So I'm going to deep fry them and make them go crispy for like a crunch texture. So we're going to have wobble, jelly texture. We're going to have like a nice hot, spicy vibe. You know, lots of cafe lime going through there and some crispy noodles. So let's see how it goes. All right, okay, I've already started. I just fried these bad boys off. So I've got the vermicelli fried here for my topping. And then I've got a little bit of nori in my lovely pink NutriBullet. Sponsor me. So I got that in there, and I've got the genmai cha. So if you look at it, it's this beautiful tea. I like to drink this. It tastes like roasted rice and green tea, but it's a vibe. So I'm going to put a bit of that in there, because once back in the day when I first moved to New Zealand, like maybe like 16 years ago, I remember being given a book by a famous chef called Peter Gordon, like he's an icon, and it had this tea smoked duck and a tea smoked salmon kind of thing. And I've always liked that idea of tea smoking, but we used to smoke with tea and rice in a big wok, and it was really cool. But this is going to be a play on that memory, but as a little dusting for my nudes. Okay, this will be ready for dusting on my nudes. Look at that, and it smells fantastic. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to be doing is making the custard, the kind of like chawan mushy situation. We'll just call it like a savoury custard, right? So for now. So I've sliced up some of the shiitake. They're going to go in the base. And they'll steam and be really, really nice. And then on top of those, I'm going to put the salmon. And I'm just going to flake it through because I feel like if it's such nice smoked salmon, what's the point in me doing much with it, right? So if I've got a beautiful smoked flavour, I think the tea should go really, 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 really well with the rest of this. So why not? Let's see how it goes. So the idea is that we're going to have that guy on there, and then we're going to fill it with a beautiful eggy situation, or an eggy custard situation. All right. Okay. So I had a little rummage in my fridge, and I found this random like stock that I'd made. It's basically like a dark chicken stock, but I added a bit of curry powder to it just to make it taste like a katsu curry for maybe, you know, one of those nights, you know. So I've got that in there, and it looks nice. It's gonna have a nice yellow tinge to it. And then what I'll do is I'll whisk my eggs, and I will not whisk them with I won't whisk them with a fork. I will whisk them with chopsticks because it helps break it down better and gives you less foam pretty much on the top of the egg. And we don't want any foam. If we have foam on the egg, you get a holy custard. And I'm aiming not to have a holy custard. So I'm going to need a little bit of salt. Come with me to my salt pig collection. Thank you very much. Multiple different salts for different occasions. So we're just using a bit of flaky Malden there because I'm English and we have to have Malden. So just gently whisking it with these bad boys, and what's happening is it's breaking down all the fancy words like amalgamums. But what I've done here is just make it nice and creamy, and then from there, apparently it's a 1.5 ratio or something. I don't know what that means. So I'm just going to add it until it looks good. So there we go. So I'm going to add my stock, just give that a whisk so I get all the good stuff from the bottom, and I'm going to whisk it until it looks like the right consistency. Just like that. Around. I think that looks good. Oh yeah. Okay, there we go. Now, a little top chefy trick if you want to, you don't have to, but because I'm so good at whisking with chopsticks, I just pop the little bubbles with the tips of my chopsticks. All right, okay, so just gonna pour that over slowly as well, so it covers all of the other ingredients, because we don't really want them floating. We want them to be like a nice little surprise underneath. There we go. And hopefully I've done this right. If I haven't, then we don't have custard and we'll have an absolute mess. It looks fairly good, I think, maybe. And then we're gonna steam it for about 20 minutes, I think. So steamer's already ready to go. So just some water in there. It's on a medium heat. You only want it on a medium heat. And then normally I would Glad wrap it, but I'm not gonna do that today because I have the basket lid. So the basket lid's gonna keep all the steam in here. And that's why they're designed. So there we go. We'll give it 20 minutes. So I'm gonna use my NutriBullet again. That's 2 plugs for NutriBullet. So I've got the Kefe lime in here, or macaroot leaves, macaroot lime leaves. I've got a little bit of palm sugar, which I had in my pantry. I've got some garlic, which I had in the freezer. So I thought I'll chuck that in there. And then I'm gonna use this. I've just tasted this. It's absolutely fire. It's so, so good. All right, so I'm gonna pop that in there. Oops. I mean, we're doing chef measures, you know, so I'm calling to the ancestors and I'm waiting for the Jewish ancestors to tell me when to stop. So not that they would have used fish sauce, I don't think, but okay. So not charm, nan jim kind of vibe. I'm thinking, yeah, it's gonna be spicy. We want it really fish saucy, you know, like a bit of saltiness. And then normally I always cut it with coconut water to make it like really creamy, but I don't have coconut water. So I'm gonna add a little bit of coconut milk, but what I'm doing is I'm just taking that fatty stuff off the top, because I think it will just tone down the heat a little bit, and it will keep it in that realm of like, you know, like curry, coconut, you know, I don't know. I'm making this up as I go along. But we'll give this a whiz, and then we'll see what this Nam Jim tastes like. Cool. Okay, tasty time, and it's a little bit looser than what I'd go for, but I think this would be nice to go over the top. So we've got the macaroot lime leaf in there, and we've got the hot black honey with the Nudorf black garlic, and then I added a bit of coconut to give it like a, I don't know, like a nice creamy vibe to go with that curry flavour. So yeah. Oh god. Okay. All right. Yeah, it's good. This is going to be a nice. Make your nose water. It's good. Right. Okay. So we've got all the ingredients, and now I'm going to figure out what to do with these veggie things. So I'm going to have a little mess around, a little play, and then I'll figure out what I'm going to do. And then we'll check on our steamed egg. Okay, so it's been about 20 minutes. Wish me luck, because I haven't made this in a long time, and I feel like Ryan stitched me up. So if it goes wrong, it's his fault. All right. Okay, so you need to come closer. We need to look for the jiggle jiggle. So we're going to give it a little wiggle wiggle for the jiggle jiggle, right? That's bloody hot, but there we go. And then what you want is the juice that's coming over it to be clear. And there we go. So we got custard. So I'm going to pop my chawan mushy situation over here. Beautiful. Get yourself a bamboo steamer. They're fantastic for doing heaps of stuff. Fish. You can do any kind of food. It's really good. I love mine. All right. So now we've got moon shadow. I might start wearing this as like an aftershave. It might be quite nice, you know. So smelling like organic tamari, wasabi, ginger, horopito. Very nice. So I made a little salad from the daikon. I added a carrot from my fridge, and I shredded the bok choy leaves. So it's like a nice little salad. And just to be all fancy, I'm going to give that a little spritz. So it's going to taste yummy. And then I'm going to do a little spritz on this guy, just to give it a little, you know, amp up the soy flavour. It's very good. And then I've got, so my little salad. I've got my little Nam Jim Nokchum, I'm not sure, but it's got a coconutty Kefe lime, fish sauce, bit of palm sugar. And then we got my cute little noodles, which I'm just going to dust with my nori and tea powder to amp up that smoked salmon vibe, right? So here we go. Gonna do something quite cute. Oh, I'll add more. We need more flavour. There we go. So that's going to go on top. So we've got a crunchy element with a real, you know, gooey, custardy element. So, here we go. We'll just use our hands. No one's going to care. And there we go. So, pop that on there like that. And there we go. So, then we can just pour a little bit of this guy around the edge. The best part is taking the ugliest spoon you can find. Now, I'm a big fan of like collecting spoons. And all my young chefs call these vintage spoons, which I think is very offensive. They're just beautiful. So I'm gonna go in. So I'm gonna go right in here, get some crunchy, get some eggy. Oh yeah. And then I'm gonna put a little bit of my salad on top. And then here goes. That smoked salmon with the tea flavour and the roasted rice on those noodles. So I've got crunch. It's so good. Like, I'm gonna have a moment.